Morning, good morning, good morning. You're listening to First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
My name is Paul B. He's Buddy the God. It
Hey,
is, what is this? When,
I'm
what-
day.
Hump Day, Wednesday, April 29th, 2026. 7 o'clock if you believe in the concept of time and live in Omaha, Nebraska. Let's go ahead and fire this show up.
Man, let's start the show.
Let's get it going. First Sky Omaha. In the morning. Money. Once again, welcome. Fresh edition of First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
It's happening right now. My name is Paul B. I'm still under the weather, so you got to bear with me.
Man.
Bear with me today. This is Buddy the God.
Hey,
How you feeling today, buddy?
man. Feeling better than you. I'll say that. It seems like you can hear it in your voice, man. Hear it in your
bro.
voice. Hopefully you get well soon, brother.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm all right. Looking forward to today's episode. We have Denise Powell coming through. I think still doing our midterm thing. Yeah.
Denise Powell's gonna come through today, so
Yeah.
that's what's up. Get your questions ready.
Yeah. So all in all, man, doing well. Watching it's NBA playoff time, so I was paying special attention to my basketball. And my son's actually been taking a special interest in liking to basketball, finding his interest in things. So I've been enjoying exploring that with him. But yeah, man, feeling good. Looking forward to today's conversation. I know you're feeling under the weather, but all in all, what's good with you? Did you make it to no knock, no charge? Did anybody make it? What's the word? What's going on?
Yeah, let us know if you showed up. I saw a lot of people and friends of that went to the movie over at Film Streams, No Knock, No Charge the other night. So I did not make it. I've been in the bed for 2 days, so I'm only up to do this today. That's how that's this. It's that once a year knockdown
Man.
drag out. I've just got my voice back this morning enough to be able to talk. So that's what's happening here. So
Yeah,
but yeah,
that's that 80 on Monday, snowing on Tuesday.
man. Pollen on top of that, it is springtime. So I'm hurting, y'all. So we're here, and we're gonna make it happen. If you went to No Knock No Charge, please let us know. I did see a lot of people posting about showing up to that event. Shout out to UNO, shout out to Film Stream, shout out to Karen Wells and family. And I heard it was a good turnout, good talk. So yeah, if you went down, man, let us know. We'd love to hear about your experience. Saw a couple people in the Friends of First Sky Omaha that have that are already talking about their experience. Going to check it out. We'll dive into that. But we appreciate everybody joining us this morning. We see you in the chat already. Like Keister in the chat saying, "What's up, Wednesday? What's happening?" Marlon Harrison, man about town,
Man.
getting news articles written about you, all kinds of things. That's what's up.
Dang.
He gives us a good morning, First Sky family, and happy Wellness Wednesday. Appreciate that. Also, RG says, "Morning, y'all. Live from the gym." That's right. See, tired in the mug too. Yeah, I hear that, bro.
Get into it though.
You better than me because if I'm not tired, I might not be at the gym. So I can't imagine being tired at the gym. So good luck to you. Appreciate you. Judy Princess says, workout done. So everybody in the gym this morning.
See, man, even Judy with the new hip. Come on, man. Come on, Paul. Man. Health as well.
My favorite joke is I'm so unfamiliar with the gym, I can call him James.
Hey, I gotta get acquainted.
She said, workout done. Wonderful Wednesday. Good morning, family. Michelle Moreno gives us a good morning. Appreciate you coming in. Miss Erica Felt is up, giving us a good morning. You always up, but you usually with kids. So I appreciate you coming in early. Also, Mark Manner says, good morning. Appreciate you coming in, brother. RG says, yeah, man, it was a hard watch, but at the same time, it's a must see. So talking about No Knock, No Charge. Appreciate you. Yeah. I heard that it was a hard one. I heard that the first scenes of that movie was the actual body cam footage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, appreciate you, man. Ms. Erica Fell says, being a Nebraska trailblazer allowed me to learn about the great opportunities for any local business within the Inland Port District last night. There's money there. Been trying to tell them.
Hey, we've been trying
to tell them. We talk about it. Good morning, Mama God. Appreciate you coming in. Also, Michelle Moreno says, yes, my boys and I went to it too. Yeah, important thing for the young folks to see too, for real. So yeah, appreciate that. And kids running around this morning. First Guy loves the kids. That's what's up. Appreciate you. Yeah, appreciate everybody coming in again. If you're just joining us, we are anticipating our special guest Denise Powell's coming through. She just got recently endorsed by Preston Love Jr. at a press conference last week that we covered. We were there, and a lot of folks, all the news channels were there because they're really on this. There's actually a lot of coverage right now on the remaining people running, and it's been an interesting run for sure. So we'll continue that conversation here. This is for Don Bacon's seat again. This is congressional candidates that we're talking to, and we got to talk about it. There's been a lot of support for Denise Powell as well, and we'll get into it. So get your questions ready, please. Morning, appreciate you. Do us a favor, share the show. If you're on Facebook, share it on your page. Be an easy thing to do there. And if you're on YouTube, take the link and send it to somebody who you think might want to join the conversation today, so we can get as many people in as possible. Once again, just want to remind everybody, if you hear me go out, I'm definitely under the weather today, so I apologize
Man,
in advance for what's going on with the voice. Like I said, I just got my voice back this morning enough to talk, so I'm down. That once a year flu, put you in bed for 2-3 days. That's what I'm in the middle of right now. So
man.
I crawled over to the desk this morning and said, we gotta keep going.
Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Don't feel bad though. It's a couple of broadcasters and hosts that I watch during my free time that also been having a flu. Something going around, man. There's something going around. But
Yeah,
thanks
man.
for doing what it do.
There you go. Appreciate you. Also, Pops is in the chat. Good morning. He says, good Wednesday morning and mad love from Las Vegas. Right on, Pops.
Hey, hey,
Getting up
hey.
with us. Appreciate you. Well, we'll jump into a few of the community updates that's going down. There's a few things happening. We're getting closer to the Friday, which means closer to the weekend. And, lots of stuff happening with that. Of course, first and foremost, we got to talk about what we got going on. This is the Content Creator Camp 2026. It's going to fire up on May 9th. So we're closing in on the date. We absolutely need to keep accepting participants. Anybody who is down for this, I think we got a couple coming, and we need a few more. So if you're
Yeah.
interested, please hit us up at firstsky@gmail.com and be part of this cohort, the Content Creator Camp 2026 4-part workshop that's happening on May 9th. It's free to the public, free to anybody who is interested in content creation or journalism. We're putting this together so that we can create an army of citizen journalists, hold them in power accountable for real, and also become a trusted source and tell your story, which is super, super important. Be able to have the ability to tell your story to many people around us. Using your voice is the best medicine for everything that's going on with us, first and foremost. So appreciate everybody who's already been a part of that. Come on through. Love to
Hey.
talk to you about that. Also, Senator Terrell McKinney is going to have his North Omaha LD 11 town hall meeting this Thursday, the 30th. He says, join us to recap 2026 legislative session, discuss interim studies, and dialogue with Senator McKinney on other related community issues. Always a good time when you can sit down and talk to the senator. This is happening at the North Omaha Visitor Center. Shout out to Preston Love. And show up there at 6 p.m. on Thursday, the 30th. Get down there with Senator Terrell McKinney, if you would, for sure. Dreamland got a whole bunch of stuff going on, big time deep dive that's happening on Thursday as well from 6 to 10. A little later on, join host Lacey Lamar for an intimate conversation with Preston Love Jr. discussing the history of the Dreamland Ballroom and jazz in Omaha.
Mm.
Shout out to Katie Rain for this is her brainchild. She could have called this Katie's Place, like Preston Love just told me the other day, but she wanted to honor the legacy of North Omaha and North Omaha Jazz, the Dreamland Ballroom. Uh, uh, Preston Love Jr. donated some photos of his father, Preston Love, playing in the Dreamland. That's in the Dreamland Lounge right now, and so this is great that they're going to have him come and speak on the history in the space right there too. There's going to be live jazz from Brock Hempel that follows the discussion. So come on with the deep dive. They got a whole weekend thing going on. This is their grand opening weekend, actually starting on the 30th of April and going to May 3rd. Several events from Thursday to Sunday, and that's just one of them. On Thursday, there'll be talk with Preston Love, hosted by Lacey Lamar. So you also
Neat.
got Jazz Bingo on Friday, Kentucky Derby Happy Hour Watch Party on Saturday, and Blues and Brunch with Matt Richardson on Sunday. Check out Dreamland Lounge if you haven't gone. This is the time to do it. They're gonna be partying this weekend for real.
Man.
Yeah. We'll say some more of the haps for a little later on in the show. Appreciate you guys hanging with us. And if you have any haps that's coming up this week or this weekend, you can throw them in the chat and also put them in Friends of First Sky Omaha, the group page on Facebook, so that we can all engage and maybe decide that that's what we're going to do for this weekend as well. Anything that you got going on. In the meantime, between time, let's talk about what's happening today. Today's thread, what it is that we're going to be discussing on this Wednesday during Follow the Money season. We're still following the money in a big way, buddy. What are we talking about today?
Yeah, man. Definitely still following the money. Kind of picking up where we left off on Monday, and definitely letting the people know what's going on with their bottom line with this whole MUD situation. Bills are going up. We kind of touched on it last episode. Again, a lot of things changing as far as just infrastructure being upgraded in Nebraska and Omaha in general. Of course, a lot of people have been talking about the sewer separation project. Of course, we've been speaking with the mayor about what's going on with the streetcar situation, which again, MUD is a part of that, having to update their infrastructure in that area. And again, some more changes coming as far as our utilities in Omaha. So I'm gonna touch on that for a second. But as far as today's thread, man, really again picking up where we left off on Monday as far as our conversation with Sister Karen Wells. A big shout out to her and her sister and brother in law as well for taking the time to speak with us. Again, big shout out to those who went out supported. I did see the video. It did look like a little space in that room as far as standing room only, as far as a packed out house at Film Stream. So again, big shout out to all those in the community that showed up and showed out. Definitely want to recap some of that and definitely some of the takeaways from our conversation with brother Andrew specifically. Again, he got into the history, which is very close to me, and talking about the history of the Casual Killing Act and just the history in general, which is where my mind goes. Speaking of history, shout out to Marlon Harrison, reminding us that actually this year marks 50 years, only 50 years since Nebraska desegregated its schools. And in light of especially our guest today, we gotta talk about it. We gotta talk about it. I shared some thoughts at the end of last episode as far as putting things in perspective, history wise. The fact that the first 20 or so years of our president's life was Jim Crow. We were in the thralls of Jim Crow in this country. And again, I'll be painting the picture throughout this episode, but it definitely feels like this country has taken a step back into the 50s. I'm talking about Cuba, Cold Wars with Russia. I mean, we gotta talk about some things. We gotta talk about some things. So again, we'll be diving into that and not only looking back, but drawing parallels to what's going on here currently. Of course, Pillin taking, as we like to call him, Trump Jr., taking a page out of Trump's book, now leaning on UNK for what he's calling a woke disease. Actually, they lost some funding. They cut some classes and some major programs. Yeah, we gotta talk about it, and definitely in light of our guest Denise Powell, who is going right into the belly of the beast, if you will, fighting to make her way to DC to change some of these things, maybe stem the direction that we're going as a country. And what does that mean for all of us, especially in our community in North and South Omaha, or what we like to call the East Side? So we're going to talk about all that and more throughout today. Of course, this is a candidate. This is a part of our Six to Dismiss campaign. So if you have any questions for the candidate, feel free to drop that into the chat. Let your mind be free. Let your voice be heard. In the meantime, between time, Paul B.
Yo, yo.
What's the word? What's the word? We're a little ahead of
Man.
schedule. How we doing?
Yeah, hanging in there. We'll take a break here. Before we do that, I'm jumping into the chat real quick.
Yeah.
Miss Erica Felt says, "Oh, children are pulling up. Have a great day. Be good to yourself. Drink water. Appreciate you, Miss Erica Felt." Also, Pops says, "You're a trooper, son." Oh, just like your pops. I heard that. That's what's up, Pops. Appreciate you. Mama Guy says, "Seems like Powell versus Kavanaugh is pretty hot and heavy." We just had John Kavanaugh, Senator John Kavanaugh, put some respect on his name, on the show a few days ago. So if you missed that interview, then go back and check that out. It was enlightening as well. Says, "I can't wait to hear from her on this show." Yeah, Denise Powell. If you're just joining us, we'll be speaking to Denise Powell, congressional candidate Denise Powell. Stay tuned for that for sure. And yeah, we'll get your questions ready for real. Miss Erica Fell says she learned a lot. I heard that. Sid Kelly giving us a good morning, talking about folks were let go from No More Empty Pots, hosting a May Day job hunt assistance even in Miller Park from May 1st to second to the from 2 to 5, May 1st from 2 to 5. Help with resumes, cover letters, professional clothing, and clothing swap, and more. Okay. Well, showing
Okay.
some support for the people that got laid off there. Appreciate that. We see Don's 5479 gives us a good morning. Appreciate that. RG says, unsurprising that Pig Swill Pillin is going after Unk, trying to reclaim small town USA one municipality at a time. What are you talking
Mm.
about it? Sandra Katie, what's happening in the chat saying good morning and sending encouragement. I second Miss Erica's hydrate. Okay, cool. Appreciate you. And then Marlon Harrison says, speaking of time, in the words of Paul B, Obama is the only president born with all 50 states. Born with all 50 states. My head's cloudy. Maybe I'm not understanding your what.
Nah. Wait, is he saying that states have been added since some of these presidents were born?
That's wild. Wow.
So they
When Trump
did.
was born, it was still the only 13 colonies.
Yeah.
That's wild.
I will say, I forget what platform it was, but they did just do an interview with all the living presidents. There's only 4 presidents that's still alive, and of them, Obama is the only one that's not in his 80s. So
Yeah, that's wild. Mm-hmm. That says what?
perspective,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, we'll take a quick break and jump into it. This is voting season, so you know what it is. Like Malcolm said, Battle of the Bullets going down.
Man,
Stay
there you
tuned.
go.
First guy Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Paul B. He's buddy to God. We'll be right back.
Explains itself. We have a fight that's common to all of us. We suffer political oppression, economic exploitation, and social degradation. Today it's time to stop singing and start swinging.
Welcome back. First guy Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Paul B. That's me. Buddy to God. That's him. Buddy to
Hey.
God. Let me say that. Let me enunciate my words a little better here. I'm a
There you
little
go.
under the weather, so please bear with me. I literally crawled out of bed into the chair so we could do this today. It is that season for me. I'm down with the flu, so just warning you in between, and before it all goes down. But we're gonna jump into it and get into it anyway. Very important conversations that we need to have today, and of course, very important a visit from a special guest. Denise Powell is coming through, congressional candidate. Got lots of questions for her, especially in this election right now. We got Preston Love on a few weeks back that told us the strategy that it's very important who needs to be in this seat in replacing Don Bacon, somebody in Congress that can kind of fight what's going on here with this administration. And so, that's why this particular race is very important. He came out last week and endorsed Denise Powell. So we'll be talking about that and some other endorsements that she's got coming up
Yeah.
as well. We'll talk about it when she gets in, but we appreciate everybody that's joining us today. And we'll go ahead and jump into the first article. The first thing we're going to talk about, buddy. What's first up on the agenda?
Man, this usually I start off with the affirmative here on the show. Of course, it's not quite that, but more so news you can use, things to look out for. Just a little heads up, really. Again, this is dealing with your MUD bill, as they say might be going up a little bit. Officials with the Metropolitan Utilities District say the budget for next year has been approved, and MUD says the average residential customer could see an estimated 2.9% increase, which will add up to about $33 a year on the combined natural gas and water bill. Some of you may have already experienced increases in your water bill. I know, Paul, you said a few people pulled up on you with their bills talking about what's going on. So Again, just a little heads up. In the release, it says individuals' bills will vary depending on weather, consumption, and pass through costs of natural gas. But as far as how some of this stuff is decided, says MUD would like to remind the public that it also serves as a billing agent for local municipalities, and the rates for municipal sewer and or trash services shown on monthly bills are established by each municipality, not the MUD board themselves. In a survey taken last year, MUD reports it ranked fourth lowest in residential natural gas. I'm not quite sure about that one, but again, yeah, let us know how your bottom line has been impacted. Of course, looking at not just MUD but OPPD, which it is reminding people is in an election this year as far as their board, and unlike MUD, I think OPPD does kind of dictate how some of these rates are distributed and changed and things like that. So yeah, just a quick heads up, get that out the way. Look out for that, and keep in mind that it's not just the six to dismiss that we've been pushing, not just these big races, but down the ballot, including even your utility districts. So keep
Yeah,
that in mind.
just to put it in context for some of the stuff we've been talking about over the course of a few weeks, even in terms of talking about data centers coming, we keep
Man,
talking about energy bill going up, how much of our OPPD bill has gone up. Not to mention all the controversy with OPPD not shutting down the coal plants and everything that's happening. So we've been talking about OPPD a lot, and the fact that it's supposed to be a private, a public utility as well.
hmm
So, well, why all the huge salaries and everything else that is going on there? But we haven't really been talking too much about MUD, who's also being affected by all these same things as well. When it comes to the water consumption that data centers need, and so on and so forth, our water bill goes up. Shout out to Wanda Lewis, who always comes on to the show and tells us about this sewer part of
hmm
of our MUD bill that we have to pay. We're not just paying for the water coming in; we're paying for the water going out, and that's something that was supposedly was voted on before, I believe. We have to dig a little bit more into the logistics of that, why it is that we're paying such a high sewer bill on MUD too. So there's still a lot to really discuss when it comes to MUD, and not just because I got to pay him
Ah.
like
That
last
part.
week. Yeah. But lots to talk about when it comes to that. So these are some of these things too. When I'm thinking about utilities, I'm thinking about this being some of the most important things that we talk about here on this show with our neighbors in our neighborhood and our community. The rising cost of energy and why that is in the consumption that we seem to always have to be paying for when they need to raise it up and not make the changes they need to make because they're making more money. And we got to keep our eye on it. It's follow the money season. So
Man.
that's what it is, and I'll leave it at that. But I just wanted to wrap it back into this conversation we're having about OPPD. We need to have it about MUD too, for real.
No, I appreciate the perspective. The shout out to RG, kind of giving a little real world example. He says fourth lowest, huh? This literal individual household saying, "Hey, he bachelor living dolo and still have to pay about 160 a month for his MUD bill." He says,
Right,
"Ain't no way my combined gas water consumption should be high enough just to justify that number." And
right.
I do appreciate all that you're saying, Paul, as far as keeping it in perspective. It's not just about this an increase, which by all means, a $33 a year increase is not necessarily anything to worry too much about. I mean, of course, it's an increase. That $33 can go to gas. You never know, food, but the bigger conversation. Again, shout out to Anthony Rogers Wright, who's been kind of talking about what's going on in Maine. I don't know if any of you have been paying attention to what's going on in Maine, but there was an attempted moratorium on data centers statewide that was being pushed in Maine, and since then, actually the governor of Maine vetoed it,
Hmm.
so it's not going through. But of course, there's on the national level a lot of conversation, not just about power and how these data centers will power themselves, but again, all of the water used to cool off these computers, all the water used to keep these things running, and what does that mean for the American system in general? So definitely a lot more conversation to be had. Of course, also adding in what's going on with the streetcar situation, MUD updating their system there. What does that mean for your bottom line? A lot of conversation to be had.
Most def. Appreciate everybody who's jumping in as well. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm seeing some names. Willie Williams gives us blessings. I appreciate you
Hey,
coming in. Our Southwest correspondent. Every time I see your name, you made me think of Juneteenth for real. So we got our
coming up.
Juneteenth celebration coming up. We'll talk about it. Also, Marlon is clarifying. He did say that Clinton, Bush, Biden, and Trump were born in the 40s, and when Alaska and Hawaii weren't even states yet. Obama's
Hey,
the only one that was born when all 50 states were here, right? Katie says, sending healing vibes your way, Paul. Appreciate you. Speaking of troopers, thanks for showing up. You made our week. Appreciate you.
man, appreciate that.
What you left? What you cracking up?
I'm laughing because you know how Trump was all heavy on this, trying to get Obama's birth certificate, saying Obama wasn't born in America. And if you think about it,
He
Obama was
wasn't
born in Hawaii. So-
wasn't a state yet. That's
I'm
hilarious.
telling y'all, Trump still think it's the 50s, y'all. I'm trying to tell you.
Some people, yeah.
Yeah, Hawaii isn't even a state. Obama wasn't born in America. Check his birth certificate.
Oh man, Miss Erica Phelps says OPPD is striving to have a complete eminent domain. They had a hearing about it a month ago. I don't think people understand what that can mean, but know the elders who lost their homes to the freeway do. Tell it. Anthony Rogers right in the chat. Good morning. He says they will overturn that old white plastic bags veto, and she will never. Man, you gotta cut it out with the name calling on this show, bro. Do that on
Man.
your page, man. You know we don't like that. She'll never get elected to the Senate for the move to boot. I'm trying to get to the point because I got to get around your insult. Let's get to the point, man. She will never get elected to the Senate for that move to boot. Okay. So you were just talking about the veto.
Governor in Maine.
Governor in Maine veto, right? And he's saying it won't go through. Okay, we'll check it. We'll see that.
Yeah, we'll see.
See if that happens. Yeah, appreciate that. But yeah, and I'm glad you're in here though, because we were just talking about this situation. We've been talking about OPPD a lot, of course, when it comes to what's happening here in our neighborhoods with the energy. But we need to keep our eye on MUD as well. So if you have any information about MUD and some of the things that's happening there, I know that data centers take a lot of water and so on and so forth, and bills going up here on our side for that. And again, shout out to Wanda Lewis, who always reminds us that we're also paying a sewage tax on that bill too. So yeah, information on that. We kind of left it off there where we're saying we got to keep our eye on MUD, just like OPPD, in that sense as well, and really kind of like which parts of these things can we vote out, vote situations out of, and so on. I know that OPPD is public, but and MUD is not. But there's also the some of these things that legislators still can do, like that sewage tax, I think was what was voted on at some point. So if you have more information on that, definitely let us know. We'll continue the conversation there. In the meantime, between time, we'll keep it moving. We got a special guest coming in today. We're anticipating our special guest, Denise Powell, running for Congress, and we'll have a conversation with her shortly. In the meantime, between time, let's move on to the next subject. What we got up next, buddy?
Yeah, just a quick recap before our first break here coming up soon. But want to look at this no knock, no charge situation again. Did anybody make it out to Film Streams on Monday? Definitely shout out to Film Streams. Actually, we'll be meeting with them very soon to look at what they got coming up for May. Again, big shout out to them for doing that with us. But yeah, on Monday it went down. Standing room only. Definitely want to get a recap from those as far as the conversation. That's the big thing. Of course, if you missed our conversation with the family on Monday, very informative, very powerful conversation. Actually went on a little longer than than was scheduled and anticipated, but it was worth it. I even had my man Paul ready to go for a third hour. I mean, he was he was locked in. Yeah, man. It was definitely that good. So I'm anticipating the conversation was just as good, if not even better. So again, definitely would love to hear takes from people that went. Shout out to those who did share on Friends of. Saw the good folks from the Rib Shack, or you gotta say it right, the Rib Shack.
Say it right.
You gotta say it right. But apparently they were in the building and echoing some thoughts that I had as well about Sister Karen Wells, who is again, Omaha family. Shout out to Big Sherm for connecting us, brother Sherman Wells, who is her cousin. But again, as far as the strength of Sister Karen Wells, the post says, I thought I was strong, but she's operating on a whole different level of strength. Watching another mother turn pain into purpose, grief into action, and loss into change is something you never forget. love you, sis. Karen Wells, keep going, keep pushing, keep fighting. You are not only honoring your son, you are changing laws and making sure his life continues to impact the world. After watching the Amir Locke documentary, it hits different. This is bigger than a story. This is a movement in honor of Amir Locke. His name, his story, his legacy will never be forgotten. So again, big shout out to those who showed up, supported this family, not only to again watch the documentary, but to have a conversation with the family. And also, again, we are about action here on this show. There was a call to action again to fill out the letter, to write a letter to those in Minnesota to make the right decision, to actually file some charges and to fight against this beast that we've been fighting against for several years. And really, that's kind of where my mind is for this thread, for this episode today, as far as what we can do to fight what it is that I think all of us are seeing. I was having a conversation with Mama God about this, and it really just came into perspective as far as where we are in this country in this point in time in history. And it really does feel like we've taken a step back to the 50s, and they're trying to push us even further back. And it's not just some of the policies that we're seeing, not just the rolling back of, civil rights law. We've already lost Roe v. Wade. I mean, we're going backwards. We're going backwards, and it's not just that, but I mean, we're now back in conflict with Iran, basically a proxy Cold War with Russia. We're going backwards. We're going backwards. So we'll definitely be continuing talking about that. I don't know if you want to jump to break. If you have some thoughts, what say you, Paul B?
Yeah, we'll definitely jump to break and come back in and get back into the conversation here, into the chat, and onto the next. If you're just joining us, so we're anticipating our special guest, Denise Powell. She's coming in, congressional candidate Denise Powell. Will show up here, so get your questions ready, and we'll have a conversation with her coming up. In the meantime, we'll take a quick break and come back and join and jump back into the conversation. This is First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
My name is Paul B. He's Buddy the God. Stay tuned, y'all.
Necessary changes through, and the necessary changes start with being.
Get ready, Omaha. Join us for the Omaha Freedom Festival, a free, family-friendly celebration of Juneteenth on June 13th at Miller Park. Enjoy free food, community resources, and family fun from 12 to 5 p.m. Play basketball, kickball, dance, activities for all ages. Enter for a chance to win great prizes. Download your free day pass now at omahafreedomfestival.com. Celebrate freedom, family, food, and fun. The Omaha Freedom Festival. Everyone's invited and everything's free.
Welcome back. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Paul B, Buddy the God. All of you chat chimers, ghost listeners, monitoring experience. We appreciate everybody joining us. If you're just joining us, we are anticipating our special guest that will join us in a few minutes, Congressional candidate Denise Powell. Get your questions ready. I'm going to be diving in with her as well. Wanted to jump into the chat real quick and just give everybody a shout out. Kimmer Snipes gives us a good morning, y'all. Appreciate you. Anthony Rogers right. I don't do Nebraska nice. I will insult Mills just like OPPD and white supremacist board members for their insults to my people via environmental racism. We tell the truth down here in Columbia. Appreciate you tapping in from Columbia. Still, our style over here is to quit doing the insults. We don't do Nebraska nice either, but chill out on the insults. Insulted enough people in your rhetoric when you in the community as well. So we got to talk about it. We got to get to the point rather than and do that. If you want to do that kind of style, you got to do it on your own show, bro. That's just what it is. We we didn't try to give you the benefit of the doubt and dealt with this long enough. Like, if you can't chill out on that, just, we'll talk. But we appreciate your comments and your intellect when it comes to some of these things, your strategies and everything else. Kind of turning people off though with the way that you do some certain things when you're online. And I wanted to wait and talk to you about that in person, but you still on this show acting as if we haven't set the tone here to have some respect when we talk. So I appreciate if you do that, and if you take that and keep that in mind if you're going to be here commenting. Appreciate that. RG says Dr. Cynthia Robinson said UNO may show it again during Juneteenth. Appreciate that. Shout out to UNO, Dr. Cynthia Robinson, for getting behind putting the No Knock No Charge film out. Excuse me. And also film streams, which film streams we will be talking about what they got coming up as well. We've been talking about film streams, our new partners that are a very important third space where they're having these kinds of discussions, these kinds of talks. As you can see, they showed the film and then they had the whole family up on the panel there to answer some questions and talk about what happened there and get some insights. So these conversations are very crucial, and film streams is one of the only third spaces that are having these kinds of things, and we appreciate them. We'll be speaking to Amanda Kephart on Friday about what's coming up at Film Streams as well, so stay tuned for that interview coming up next show, as a matter of fact. Before we move on, too, just wanted to give a shout out to Precious McKesson and DJ Mr. Soul over there at 87.9. If you haven't checked it out, they over there politicking with P. I'm glad that we can create a thing that moves beyond us, moves past us as well. She'll be back on the show though. She says she can't wait to come back on the show. But she's over there politicking with P over there with the Mr. Soul show as well. Shout out to Mr. Soul, man, doing the work over there. First of all, just legendary DJ in the area, but now, doing like us with some grown folk stuff, man, stepping into the game here, speaking to the politicians. Using this platform for good, and he'll be politicking with P coming up April 20. Oh, this just passed. I'm sorry, I missed that. This happened on Monday, April 27th. Yeah, I'll check and see if they have a recording of this so you can hear him politicking with P. But shout out to them for diving in as well, man. This is part of News Gang right here. I'm really impressed with what 87.9 is doing. If you haven't checked out 87.9 The Culture, I highly encourage you to do that. It's an internet radio channel, and you have to download an app to listen to it. But please do, because there is a serious talent in the city that's on this channel, and they're doing some serious work as well with what's happening with this 6 to dismiss situation and interviewing candidates and so on and so forth. So shout out to them. Yep. Meantime, between time, buddy, where we at?
Yeah, just kind of teeing things off, setting up for our guest coming up, and really looking at what she's walking into as far as, the landscape, the chapter in this country, and how are we going to move forward rather than continue to move back, and that's really really where it is, man. Even talking about MUD and utility and infrastructure in this country, even the infrastructure is still rooted in the 50s and 40s as far as, again, this country being stuck in the past. And actually, shout out to Sister Kimber. I see her in the chat. She actually just shared some notes, which I do want to get into. Speaking of, the past, as Marlon Harrison just shared on Friends of, this year marks 50 years. Just 50 years since the schools in Omaha were desegregated. And again, we got to put things in perspective, because as far as the nadir, as far as Jim Crow, as far as a reality where certain people in this community, certain people in this nation were marginalized severely, talking about Jim Crow and the violence that we were subjected to in this country, and just how recent that past was. Again, shout out to Pops, also getting clarification and perspective in the chat. He says, just to clarify a bit, according to ChatGPT, Obama was born August 1st, 1961, and Hawaii was already a state as of August 21st, 1959. But neither Alaska nor Hawaii were states when I was born as well. Again, just putting it into perspective how young of a country this really is, and how much tainted some of the people in this nation still are from our past, and what MAGA and Make America Great Again really means and what it really looks like. So again, just a quick history lesson on segregation in Omaha, Nebraska, and to kind of put it in perspective. My mom, shout out to Mama Guy, who's in the chat right now, was one of the first generations to be bussed out of her community. one of the first generations of desegregated schooling in Omaha. Like, to have my mom tell me stories of, yeah, I remember when schools were segregated. And I remember when we finally got bussed out of our segregated neighborhoods.
Mm.
Puts things in a different perspective. So just to give a little history, in 1975, the Omaha Public School District received a court order to integrated schools. Racial segregation was not an official school district policy. It was a result of the city's long history of housing discrimination, which, again, shout out to Chris Baby Boy Bolin, who's done a pretty good job reporting on some of the covenants that still exist in some of the housing in Omaha. Speaking of housing segregation and the history of that, it's a whole nother conversation, but I digress. The racial imbalance was addressed in the 1974 U.S. District Court case, but action wasn't required until the Eighth Circuit Court of Appeals issued its order a year later. By 1976, providing a fair integration ratio of black to white students and faculty while fulfilling the court's guidelines, it would then be implemented that fall. Other cities across the nation received court orders as well, reassigning students to other schools and implementing complex busing arrangements. These plans often faced violence and white flight. Omaha residents knew about the court order but didn't know what to expect. And again, shout out to Marlon Harrison, who actually shared a pretty dope documentary, which, Love Supreme Films. We all about that. You can find that. You can find that documentary on our Friends of Facebook or Friends of First Sky Facebook group. Again, it's a pretty decent, about 30-minute watch. So definitely check that out if you want more history on this. But again, shout out to Cameron Snipes, who is again working to keep fighting this legacy of racism, desegregation, and bigotry in our school systems. And we're kind of seeing that creep in. We'll get into this UNK story here in a second, and how, the Trumpism, the Trump effect, is making its way to Nebraska. But again, we have our guest here coming up very soon. So I wanted to lay that groundwork as we talk to her about, how do we navigate through some of these things as far as where Trump is trying to take this country, and how do we fight it? How do we fight it? So a few people chiming up in the chat, Paul. You got some, actually, Mama God also, big shout out, chiming in.
Yeah, she said Lorther to Laura Dodge.
Mm.
That's where you got bust. Also, Kimber Snipe says busing is how I ended up going to school with Antoine and Vershawn Jackson from fourth to sixth grade at Pawnee Elementary. Those were brothers that owned Jackson's Fair Deal Cafe over there. Yeah. So you met some folks. That's what's up. Also, Christy Nor giving us a good morning. Appreciate you. Mama Guy says, if I had a black principal, Miss Fletcher, I had. So where you got bused to, there was a black principal. That's interesting.
Man.
Yeah. Let us know what your thoughts are on this too. I think this is something that is kind of something that is an ongoing conversation we have about what it actually means. I remember a few years back we started talking about how they were attacking education so strongly. We did a piece where we talked about how they were taking history out of the social studies books. So this has been ongoing. This kind of idea of taking things back to a certain era, and love to hear from you what your thoughts are on that, especially some of the elders that we have in the chat as well. How does this relate to if you were there in those time periods? Yeah, how these things affect you and how you related to these things and what it looks like now in relation to them. So appreciate that. She said, yeah, had a black principal. That's interesting. Marlon Harrison also says, if you want me to send y'all the court case and OPS busing plan, I can post it too. Please do.
Man, yeah.
Love to see it. Yeah, shout out. Appreciate that. Michael Watts in the chat. We, as specifically Nebraskans, North Omahans, and certainly Black Nebraskans. I missed the earlier post there.
Yeah, looks like half an idea.
Marlon Harrison. Grace Omaha. U4J says good morning. Good morning to you. Appreciate that. Also, boy, they're coming in fast here. Surprisingly, my mom's school was touched because it was already diverse. Yeah, I did hear about there's like diversity in some of the school systems and stuff before too. But busing kind of turned into be. Some people feel like it was the messed up thing that they got bussed elsewhere out of it. The busing was supposed to be for integration, which was supposed to be a positive thing, but it kind of turned out to be negative. That's kind of what I'd like to talk about too, in a way. Some of that. There's a new name here. Let's see, West. I'm not sure what
Wes Jensen,
Wes
86.
Yeah, we're having some problems here with the chat. We apologize for that. The chat's kind of doing something weird. Here's Kimbra's chat. I had a discussion with Lynn Walls Monday. Shout out to Lynn Walls. We have to talk to her as well. She said we met to discuss her campaign. Got her to have a discussion with Leo Lewis and some others too. Yes, we were at the coffee shop. That's what's up.
Hey.
Over at Fair. The Omaha North Omaha Visitor Center, which is where a lot of these important meetings are happening. Appreciate that very much. We'll talk about it some more. I'm glad that you guys are chiming in about this particular thing here, but we got our special guest coming in shortly. So definitely just want to give a shout out to everybody who has some input on this. We'd love to talk about this as well, because a lot of times we talk about the solutions to this is to bring other kinds of times back where there was a little bit more integration or a little less integration, a little bit more focus on our neighborhoods and who's in our neighborhoods and how we're going to survive together within the areas that we're in and build it up. This is the follow the money season as well too. So we talk about a lot of money coming into North and South Omaha and what that actually really means and how we can make these areas thrive with the people that are here. So I think it's all part of that kind of conversation there. So I appreciate everybody who's joining us in adding to this conversation. We'll definitely pick it up as we continue on in the weeks to come on this Follow the Money series. Let's take a quick break and we'll bring our special guest in. Shout out to Denise Powell, congressional candidate, who is joining us, waiting in the wings. We'll be right back. You're listening to First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
I'll be a buddy to God. All of you chat chimers, ghost listeners, appreciate everybody that's coming in and having these conversations with us. It is really, really important that we get busy on making some progress here on what to do next. Stay tuned. Welcome back. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
My name is Paul B. He's buddy to God, and she is Denise Powell. Good morning to you. Good morning to you.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for joining us. I am not excited to be here. I'm under the weather, so I am.
Oh, Paul, sorry. So much going around. Sorry.
It is a lot going on. I didn't think it was just me. Yeah. So it's that time of year for me where I get the pollen comes and then that one thing leads to another and I'm in bed for 3 days. So, but I'm here because I'm excited to talk to you too. We had a chance to talk a little bit before. I met you at another event that you were speaking at. And then, of course, we were out there when Preston Love Jr. was giving you his endorsement out there on the corner of 24th and Lake, the Deuce, we call it. And I got to say, I've never seen anybody handle the losing of a microphone as professionally as you. I'm forever in awe.
2 times, 3 times, just dropping it.
She talks with her hands, knocked it off.
I do. I'm Cuban. We talk with our hands a lot.
She picked it up, put it in her pocket. Then a few minutes later, she thought about it. She was like, "Oh, I better put that back on." Took it out, clipped it back. I was like, I didn't have to do nothing. It was genius. You're a pro. Appreciate you. Please introduce yourself to our audience that do not know who you are yet, please. Thank you.
Yeah, so I'm Denise Powell. I'm running for the 2nd Congressional District. This is the seat Don Bacon's retiring from. And I'm excited. I am a mom. My parents are immigrants. I'm a small business owner. I'm the founder of an organization called Women Who Run Nebraska. We've been working for the last decade to help get good, awesome, dedicated, smart women elected to public office all over the state and up and down the ballot. And I decided to jump into this race about a year ago. It'll be a year on Friday, actually, my year anniversary of being a candidate. And I got into the race because I'm mad and I'm really frustrated by this administration and every facet of my life, whether I'm at my kids' like baseball games or I'm at a board meeting with an organization I volunteer with, or I'm at the doors or talking to farmers, like everybody is hurting right now and everybody is feeling the strain of this administration. And I love this state and I love the people of this state. And it really is frustrating to me to see people continuously just get screwed by an administration that is so corrupt, that is doing everything that they can to get rich, while people here in our homes are struggling to get by. So I'm excited to be in this race. Primary is 13 days away, so lucky 13. And I'm feeling hopeful about what's to come for Nebraska.
That's cool. I appreciate that. Thank you for the introduction there. Just want to let people know, usually I don't have to do this because we have a set, audience of people that come into the chat, but we have some new names today I'm seeing, and I appreciate the new names that are in. Just want to let you know, new names. That we treat the chat as if we're speaking to each other face to face. We give respect to our guests. If you have questions and comments, you can put them in the chat as if you're speaking to the guest. So just want to remind everybody that that's what we're doing here, as we have some new names coming in. And I want to remind you, Miss Powell, please don't look at the chat. We'll moderate that and handle that ourselves. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot going on.
Yeah, a lot going on, and you can get lost real quick.
Always, yeah.
Yeah. I appreciate everybody that's in, though. I'm seeing Kimber Snipes giving you a good morning, Denise. There you go.
Hi, Kimber.
Yeah. Appreciate you guys coming through here. Get your questions, have your questions out. Really appreciate that very much. And also, yes, let's stay on conversation with each other. Please chat. Thank you. So anyway, just wanted to say again, thank you for running down what's going on. That mad mom thing that is that I asked you about before. I definitely want to hear a little bit more about that because you kind of been running on that a little bit, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's true. Like, look, I have 2 kids, and when we were talking as a family about jumping in this race, my kids are pretty aware of what's going on. Like, we try to do all the social media laws and rules and stuff in our house, but they see things that are going on. And so they were kind of worried about what this was going to look like. And we talked a lot about this idea that like the world is really hard right now for a lot of people. And it's time for us to be brave and stand up and speak out for people. And I was at an event one time and I was talking about why I was running. And I just said, look, I'm not a politician. I'm a pissed off mom. And that resonated with so many people who were like, yeah, I'm pissed off too. And I think a lot of times like Democrats have gotten like, crap for not being strong enough and not pushing back enough on some of this. And there's something that really sticks with folks when they see that there's somebody else who is mad about their situation too. And I think that has resonated with so many people. I hear about it at the doors. We knock on doors and people will be like, are you that pissed off lady? And I'm like, oh yeah, I am. And they're like, oh my God, me too. Like, thank God somebody's finally said what I've been feeling. And it wasn't intended to become like a campaign slogan, but obviously it's connecting with folks. And it's true. I mean, I really am so angry at this administration. I'm angry because they're attacking all the things that I care about, immigration and education and healthcare. And it's just a lot. And it's a lot for everyday folks to even keep tabs on, but they know that their lives are getting worse. And a lot of it has to do with what's happening in DC right now.
Very interesting.
Yeah, I'll jump in.
You got something on your mind?
Yeah, I got a few things on my mind, but we'll just kind of start with the main thing that's jumping out to me right now, as far as you mentioning you're not a politician, and I do feel like the way we got as a nation, the way we ended up here it seems like as a nation we're tired of voting for politicians, and some people were saying that they didn't vote for Kamala because she's a woman, because she's black. But a lot of people, felt like they couldn't trust her because she was a long time politician. So, and a lot of people voted for Trump because he said he wasn't a politician.
Right.
So I'm kind of curious to your background as far as not being a politician, but what is your area of expertise? I know, of course, you mentioned you founded organizations, but what kind of more about your background?
Yeah, thank you. My background's communications and marketing, and I did that for a long time. I did it all over the country, and I did it in Miami, I did it in New York, I did it in LA, and that's where I met my husband, and he worked for a company that was opening an office here in Omaha, and we had been married for like 3 weeks, and he came home one day and was like, what if we moved to Omaha, Nebraska? And we didn't know anybody here. It was like a complete, new adventure for us. And we decided to come here, and it was the best decision that we ever made. It was 17 years ago, and we bought our first house here, and we had both our kids here, and we just fell in love with Omaha. And my first role here was helping launch the Nebraska Loves Public Schools campaign. And that was really what exposed me to all the organizations that support public schools from the outside. And so I started volunteering with Girls Inc. And then I later joined the board of the Center for Immigrant and Refugee Advancement. I was on there for 6 years. I worked with the WCA, which is Nebraska's largest agency to serve survivors of domestic violence and trafficking. Worked with arts organizations, Amplify Arts. I was on their board, and just like supporting all the things that make our communities great and vital and take care of people. And then 2016 happened, and Donald Trump was elected, and I didn't know how the heck I was going to do anything to solve what was happening in DC at the moment. I was so frustrated, but I was like, what can I do as a mom sitting here in Omaha, Nebraska? And I decided that if I could get good people elected to public office across the state and the legislature on school boards, maybe we could insulate Nebraskans from some of the crap that was going to come down from the administration. And so that's what we did. And I used sort of my marketing and communications brain to give people like a positive way to engage in politics. And we've worked with hundreds of women at this point, including Kimra, who I hope is still in the chat. Just helping support them and providing training and providing a safe space to come and ask questions, raising money for them because it costs money to run these campaigns. And oftentimes women don't get access to the same level of funding that male candidates do. And it's been the best thing. And then as part of that organization, I also got to work on lots and lots of different ballot measures. So, in 2024, I was traveling the state with the Protect Our Rights petitions and support our schools and medical cannabis and paid sick leave, and going out to some of the most rural parts of the state and walking up these dirt roads, flying Trump flags with my little clipboards and having to talk to people about these issues and having to find some common ground, because I never wanted to leave any of those doors without at least one signature. And that's how we got all those things on the ballot. It was by building consensus with people who maybe we don't agree with everything on, but we could find some common ground. And that's how we got all 4 of those issues on the ballot. And that's some of the energy that I'm hoping to bring to this race and to this seat in Congress is like, I'm the roll up your sleeves, get in the trenches, wear out your shoes kind of person. That is what I've been doing behind the scenes for 10 years, which is why nobody knew who the heck I was when I jumped into this race. And I was intentional. I loved being behind the scenes. I never saw myself running for office. But I'm in this fight now because I just think that this is a time for a different kind of leadership. I think we need people who aren't necessarily beholden to special interest groups and corporations and billionaires, and are just in it for the people of Nebraska, who are willing to have the hard conversations, who are willing to work with people who maybe we don't agree with on everything, but maybe we can find some common ground to move some things forward. I think we need that right now desperately. People are hurting and they need help right now. And we need to be solving for some of these more long-term sustainable changes that we all know are desperately needed.
Sounds good. I'm thinking right now about something that Senator Ashley Spivey said. We have the senators on. We do a thing called the Senator Cipher every other week. Yeah, you've been checking it out. She said something about the blue dot the last time she was on that made me pause a little bit, because I hadn't heard anybody speak up on that before. And I see somebody in the chat asking about what your thoughts are on the blue dot. We know that you're running as a Democrat, and you've been a part of that situation. If you remember what she said, I don't want to get into it too far, but if you remember what she said, I was wondering what your thoughts are on the blue dot and how it is, and how is that attached to why you're running, and particularly against some of the people that you're running against that we'll get into here in a minute.
Yeah. I will say it has nothing to do with why I'm running. I'm running because people in Nebraska need a representative that's going to stand up to them. Now there is every election has consequences. And the blue dot, for, if anybody's listening and hasn't heard that phrase before, Nebraska splits its electoral votes. And so unlike other states where the whole state has to cast its vote for one presidential candidate, in Nebraska, every district, and we have 3, can cast an individual vote. And so District 2 we call it the blue dot because in 2008, it went for Obama. In 2020, it went for Biden. And in 2024, it voted for Kamala Harris. And why that's important is that there are a lot of scenarios that, the people who figure out all the maps and stuff for presidential elections, they see a lot of scenarios where it is possible that this one electoral vote could swing the results of the presidential election. And there was a lot of thinking that maybe in 2024 that would be the case. And so people fought really, really hard to protect the blue dot. And the blue dot was something that was put into legislation in Nebraska in 1991. And our current governor, Jim Pillen, has been really working hard to get rid of it. He wants the whole state to vote one way. And so in 2024, a lot of people fought really, really hard to protect that blue dot. And we saved it in the legislature by basically one vote, essentially one person who cast the vote so that we held it here. Now, in 2026, people are worried about that too, because one of the candidates in this race is a sitting state senator. If he resigns his seat, Governor Pillen appoints his replacement. And we know what kind of person Pillen is going to replace, this Senator Kavanaugh with. He's going to replace him with some MAGA Republican. And then there's a real chance that they're going to have the votes they need to change our electoral system, to eliminate the blue dot. And that could have real consequences in 2028. So there's a lot of people that are worried about it. It's not surprising to me. If you remember 2024, literally everybody had their signs and their blue dot bandanas on their dogs and their blue dot manicure. It was a big thing. And a lot of people invested a lot of resources in protecting it. And I think there are a lot of people who are doing the same thing now. So like I said, it's not why I'm running. I'm running because I care about this district. I'm running because I care about the people of this state and I want to protect them. But I think it is sort of a valid point and a valid consequence of this election that folks just need to consider. Have the information and then do with that information what you will.
On
Before
that note,
before we get there, just want to let people know it's 8:01 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, if you're just joining us, we're with Denise. You don't believe in it either. That's what's up.
yeah.
We're with congressional candidate Denise Powell, and she's with us to answer some questions. If you have questions and comments, please put them in the chat. We'll get to them as we can. We do have a lot to cover here, so if you don't mind staying a few minutes longer, then we can kind of get to it. We appreciate that. We had Senator John Kavanaugh on a few weeks back, and he had some things to say about that situation with the blue dot we'll get to. And then also we just had Melanie Williams on, who was a very interesting guest that come on too. Shout out to Anthony Rogers Wright for hooking us up with her. She has some very interesting things to say. I don't know if you saw that interview, but we'll get to that. Before we do, I want to go ahead and hand it over to Buddy. I know that you got something top of mind that you want to dive into. Go ahead.
Yeah. Again, you had mentioned how you ran in your strategy in the previous election cycle as far as trying to insulate Nebraska from what's happening at the federal level, which is interesting. Because in the conversation of this blue dot, that's kind of the energy behind it. We got to keep this stronghold. But at the same time, from my perspective, Nebraska hasn't really been insulated from what's happening in DC. We've seen, with the Cornhusker Clink, we're seeing we're seeing it. So to that point, 2-part question, really. Do you feel, in your opinion, do you feel like the blue dot is enough to insulate Nebraska? And if not, what is enough to kind of protect Nebraskans from what we call, Trump Jr. and Pillen in Nebraska?
Yeah, no, it's not enough, buddy. I mean, I think you're spot on. And I think one of the things when I founded my organization, and this is kind of goes against, I'm here running a congressional campaign, but I will tell you, state and local races oftentimes have more of an impact on your day-to-day life than anything that's happening in DC. That's why Women Who Run was so important, because making sure that we had good people in the legislature and the school board and the state board of education and the OPPD board, those things matter to people's day-to-day life. And so the answer is voting for good people from the top to the bottom of the ballot. We've got a great gubernatorial candidate. So there is somebody who could potentially knock out Pillen. Pillen was the one who's making these deals with Trump on the Cornhusker Clink. We have a Secretary of State who's selling voter data, giving away voter data. We've got a Secretary of State candidate. We've got an Attorney General candidate. Remember, Mike Hilders is out there trying to block medical cannabis and all these other things and attacking people for doing good work. We've got an Attorney General candidate who can go up against him. We've got people running for state legislature and state board of education and all these places. And it's really important to show up for them. And so when I think about 2026, we've got an opportunity to elect somebody who is going to show up for this community in DC. But we also, just as important, is all those other seats down ballot. Like getting rid of a Governor Pillen who is in Donald Trump's pocket is just as critical, if not more critical, right, to the people of this state. Getting rid of a Secretary of State and Attorney Generals, making sure that we're electing as many good people as we can to the state legislature is really, really important. So I always say to people, we would joke last cycle, the ballot was really, really long, if you remember, because it had all the ballot initiatives and stuff. We would be like, you know what, flip it over, start from the bottom and vote all the way to the top. Because every seat matters. Every seat matters, and it's really important. And that's the only way we really insulate Nebraska. Right now, we are playing like defense on everything. We're just trying to block. We're just trying to stop things. But if we really want to get to a place where we can push things, where we can introduce things, where we can make things happen, it's going to take electing a lot of people at every level of government.
Appreciate that. Want to give a shout out to Allie Peeler, who's in the chat. Good friend of mine, Allie Peeler. She's saying Women Who Run is an incredible organization. Also, shout out to Jocelyn Brew, one of our partners that put the film out, Women Who Run.
Yeah.
And we really appreciate that. Anthony Rogers right in the chat is saying something interesting too. He says, it is encouraging that a woman is leading fundraising in the CD2 race. I think people are just concerned about where that money is coming from and from whom. This is our follow the money season, so we have to get to that question. Appreciate you, Anthony, for asking it.
Yeah.
Tell us about your fundraising.
Yeah, thanks. No, that's a really good question. We are leading in fundraising. I think the stat I'm most excited about is that we outraised the only Republican in this race in 2025. We outraised him again last quarter. So I feel really good about that. People ask these questions a lot. When you go on to the FEC website, fec.gov, you can literally read our reports and see where every penny comes from. So you can see who's donating to my campaign and where that money is coming from. A lot of our money is just coming from independent people. We've gotten some money from PACs that are connected to like members of Congress. So you'll see some PAC names, but those are people that like House members who have a PAC. I've been endorsed by organizations like Emily's List and the Congressional Hispanic Caucus's PAC, Bold PAC, Latino Victory Fund. So we've gotten some support from those kind of organizations. I don't take corporate PAC money, so you won't see any corporate PACs. And I think a lot of the conversation right now is about sort of these, what's called an independent expenditure. And basically those are outside groups that campaigns like mine are not allowed to coordinate with. We can't talk to them. And they're investing a lot of money into this race. We actually were really excited. We sent out a press release about the fact that Emily's List and Bold PAC, the Hispanic Caucus, and Elect Democratic Women, which is a group of women in Congress, announced that they were spending money in our race. That's a big deal to have people believe that you are worth investing in. And there are people who are spending money in this race, telling the story about the blue dot. You know, like I said, that there are a lot of people around the country who see Nebraska too as potentially a key to winning in 2028. So it's not really surprising that there are people who are out there sort of trying to tell that story too. But yeah, I truly think everybody should be thinking about where people's money is coming from. And the FEC website is a great place to look at every candidate and every campaign, and you can literally go in there and track every individual donation.
And I just wanted to clarify really quickly, when you say some of these organizations are putting money into the race, you're saying they're not necessarily donating directly to your campaign,
Right.
but they're elevating candidates if they elevate you or whoever they choose. They're just themselves investing in the race.
Right. And we find out about those things when other people do. Like I will literally be sitting there and like somebody will be like, I just saw this ad, or I just got this mail piece on you. And I'm like, not for me. Like, I don't know. I don't know where it's the weirdest thing. And listen, I always like, this kind of money in politics, I really believe that we need to eliminate Citizens United, because right now, like, this is nice, is working in my favor. You got people who are investing in me and believing in me, but like, you will see on the other side of this primary, the amount of money that will pour in attacking whoever the Democratic nominee is, the amount of money that's going to pour in attacking the Republican nominee. So it's really like, it's, you know, fun and good that right now, like, I've got money that is supporting me, and that's nice. But this isn't the way politics should work. And I'm the first person to say that. And I, as somebody who like literally founded an organization to help women raise money because they needed money for their campaigns, money in politics is gross, and it's a big turnoff for people. And the only way to eliminate these kind of things is to eliminate Citizens United, and Citizens United overturn it, because that was the rule that basically allowed these people to create these separate PACs and just pump millions and millions of dollars. And we've seen it here in Nebraska every cycle. And in Nebraska, at the state and local level, they have weird laws where it's like the Wild West here. You can donate as much as you want to a state and local candidate. The federal level, you have limits, but in Nebraska, you can donate however. And we've seen people pump, you know, write a $25,000 check to a super MAGA school board member with 2 weeks to go in the race and win that seat. So money in politics is a real problem, and it needs to be addressed for sure. And I think that we need to elect people who are going to be serious about changing it.
Before we get off of this subject here, there has been some concern out there that there's AIPAC money behind you. Here's a Nicole in the chat saying, how do you square that? And Powell has consistently deflected any questions about AIPAC, DMFI, by saying Kavanaugh took money from J Street, but J Street supports a two-state solution, conditions and aid to. Something you want to shoot down there in that
Yeah,
comment?
I mean, I have not accepted any money. I've not solicited any money from AIPAC, J Street, DMFI, any organization in this space. And mostly that's because I think it's like the corporate PAC money thing. Like, I think people lack trust in politicians and government. They don't think government cares about them. They don't think people are in it for the right reasons. And so I don't take money from any of those groups, just like I don't take money from any corporations, because I want folks to know that when it comes to the issues, I'm going to be an independent thinker on this. And I'm going into thinking about like how this is impacting people, how this is impacting Nebraskans. So no, I mean, that's my question that's, I guess, the answer to the question is no, not soliciting, not accepting any money from any of those organizations.
Okay, appreciate you answering that question. Chat's going off a little bit more than it usually does. I'm looking at the time. We have about 3 more minutes before we our agreed upon time for you to leave. So I want to jump into some things that we need to jump into before I jump back in. I see Michaela Cavanaugh, Senator Michaela Cavanaugh in the chat. I appreciate you. We'll get to your questions too. Also, Anthony Rogers Wright is asking something that we want to get into as well. But before we get to that, just in case you have to go at the point in time, we need to ask you about your. You've just been endorsed by Preston Love Jr.
Yeah.
You also just been endorsed by the Nebraska Democratic Black Caucus, and we need to ask you about your plan with North Omaha. Your plan for North Omaha. Will North Omaha have access to you when you win? Senator John Kavanaugh came on and said when he's in there, we can call him directly. So he set the tone. So you're gonna have to say that back to us too.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah. So let us know about your plan for North Omaha, if you have one, who you're making these plans with in North Omaha, why you're being endorsed by these organizations and individuals, and what it means for you when you win that seat, what it means for North Omaha in particular.
Yeah. I mean, first, absolutely call directly. Also, we're going to have a campaign office or a congressional office in North Omaha.
Hey, okay.
And I mean, we talk a lot about like hiring, diversity and hiring and stuff, but I think it goes beyond that. It's having people on my team that know North Omaha, that are invested in North Omaha, that know who to call, right? Because that's part of it. Like, our job is to bring in resources, to help people access resources. You can't do that if you don't know, like, oh my gosh, okay, I need to solve this. I'm going to call Kimmerer. I'm going to call Pastor Williams. I'm going to call so-and-so. So it needs to be people who are really dialed into the community. So that's really, really important. And like I tell people in a lot of these settings, like, I don't have all the answers for North Omaha. North Omaha has answers for North Omaha. And my job is to listen to the people who are out there doing this work. I mean, if you look at what's happening on 24th Street right now, it's so exciting. Like the visitor center. I was just at an event at Noma. I hadn't been in there since it was Love's. It's beautiful. And like we went upstairs and saw everything that's going on there. The Star, I mean, there's so much happening in North Omaha. North Omaha is doing a hell of a job doing what North Omaha needs. And my job is to go to DC and bring back resources to help North Omaha do what it wants to do. I was listening to another podcast with a candidate in another state, and he used the phrase health, wealth, and economic opportunity. And I kind of love that. Like, that's what it's about. Like, we want people in this district and across this, in this community in particular, to be healthy. I mean, when we're looking at issues like the coal plant, when we're looking at issues like the Superfund site and, lead poisoning of our children, we need access to things that keep this community healthy, but we need to bring wealth and economic opportunity into this community because that lifts everything up. When you've got economic opportunity, you can have better housing, you can access better childcare, all those things. So investing in small businesses, investing in folks who are already doing the work on the ground, there are great organizations who are doing incredible work right here in North Omaha. It's not for me to go create something new, but make sure that we're investing in the people that are doing the work.
Have some access. Okay. That sounds encouraging. We appreciate you answering that question there as well. And you kind of touched on some other things we were going to ask about, whether or not there's going to be an office in North Omaha.
Yeah.
And, and of course, we need to pay attention to who's in those offices, people connected to North Omaha and so on. So you're the staff and people that you're putting around. Appreciate that very much. It is 8:15 right now. If you guys believe in the concept of time, this is the agreed upon time. We said we were going to have you stay till. I don't know if you have couple more minutes. Like I said, the chat's kind of going off. Are we running up against your schedule too tough?
Yeah, I got like 5 minutes.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
I appreciate that. If you can stay,
thank you.
Another 5. Yep. And before I get into the chat, buddy, anything standing out to you that you need to raise up real with our little extra 5 minutes that we got?
No, I want to give some respect to the chat. There's a lot of questions in the chat. Obviously, we're not going to be able to get to all of them. So in this last 5 or so minutes, kind of pick out some questions that's jumping out to you.
Absolutely. I definitely want to get with Senator Michaela Cavanaugh, who is in the chat. And now I got to go back up and see.
Oh, I do have a question while you're looking. And this is something that kind of hits close to home for us. And knowing that you're in marketing and communications, I really appreciate Marlon's question on this. So what is your goal to stop all this merging between media companies like Paramount and Warner Brothers? Again, we're seeing the media landscape changing vastly, which will have an impact on how Americans are informed. What say you?
Yeah, it's really problematic. So my family was in media and like radio, television, journalism, and I am really, really worried about what looks like sort of a consolidated attack on truth telling, right? Like, there's, they're looking at a lawsuit at ABC on Jimmy Kimmel. Like there's just a lot. And I think that we need to be protecting the media. I mean, we call the media the third estate, and right now it feels like we have lost, like we are losing credibility. It's hard to know who to trust. I mean, honestly, that's why podcasts like this really matter, because it's really hard to know who to trust at the big national level, to know who's not in somebody's pocket or who's being pressured by some politician or some group to sort of deliver a message in a certain way. And I think we need to be taking that more seriously as a country, the danger that stuff like this poses. I think we need to block mergers like these. And I think we need to do everything in our power at the congressional level to stop political meddling in our media companies and especially in news organizations. I mean, it's very scary that it's really hard to know who to trust at this point. And I talk a lot about media literacy in my house because I have kids, and we always talk about like, don't just believe the headline or the whatever, because if you're not like digging into the facts behind it, you could be completely lied to. But honestly, it's really hard right now to know who's telling the truth. And I think that's a massive, massive problem, and one that Congress can and should be doing more to address.
Okay. Appreciate that. I'm trying to pull together Senator Kavanaugh's comments. But before we do that, I want to jump into this comment that Anthony Rogers Wright has also been pushing here. He says, there is only one candidate who has taken a direct stance on genocide, Melanie Williams. She asked her fellow candidates if they consider it a genocide. Does Denise Powell consider it a genocide? Talking about what's going on with Israel, Gaza, the whole conflict there. This is I'm using this particular question because we have to talk about some of the things like genocide and some of these terms, and the other things that other candidates like Melanie Williams have been speaking out against as well. You know, we need to get a gauge on where you stand on how on these subjects, if you
Yeah.
will.
Yeah. I mean, this is a subject that is, there's so many layers and there's so much nuance, and I feel like there's never an opportunity to really dig into it a lot. I think what's happening in the region is horrific. I mean, I don't know how anybody doesn't look at this stuff and think it is horrible. I think Benjamin Netanyahu has terrible policies. I think he is a terrible person with far right ideas. And I think in this moment, what the US could and should be doing more is holding him accountable for this stuff and making sure that we are investing resources into Palestine, into the region, to make sure that they are able to rebuild from all of this. I mean, I think there's a lot of talking points in this. I'm less concerned about what we call it and more concerned about how we address it and how we stop it from happening. And that's something that I just don't think the administration has been forceful enough in dealing. I mean, there's a ceasefire. We should be making sure that everybody is holding to the tenets of the ceasefire and that aid's flowing into the region so we can move forward from all this.
Okay, this is obviously something that we'll have to get with you on another time and have a little longer, deeper conversation.
Yeah, sorry, getting kids to school.
Yeah, I appreciate you very much. Michaela, Senator Kavanaugh is saying she's saying there it's in your red box. I'm just piecing it together real quick before we get out of here. It's in your red box. She's saying for dark money to parrot your talking points. So you might not know, but you aren't calling it out, and you are funded by corporate PACs. She's saying, will you denounce DMFI's investment in your campaign and corporate PACs supporting you? I think there's some information here about the funding still. There's some questions there that she's bringing up that, like I said, I'm trying to pull this together here in this last second. But these are some of the questions that she's pulling together here to talk about your funding.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know where that's coming from. I am not supported or funded by DMFI or any other organization in this space. I'm not funded by corporate PACs. I mean, I think that this is a moment, we are 13 days away from this election. And I think in a lot of ways our, opponents are getting nervous because our campaign is doing really, really well. And these are sort of baseless attacks. There's some negative ads on me right now that are attacking work that I'm actually really, really proud of and distorting my record. I'm really proud of advocating for reproductive rights, for medical cannabis, for our schools. And I think it's especially sad that, they're amplifying our attorney general's attacks on organizations that are advocating for this stuff. Again, go to the FEC website and see who is donating to my campaign, and you'll see it's very, very clear. It's not any of those organizations. It's not corporate PACs.
Okay.
That's all I can say about that.
We'll definitely dig in. Appreciate you sticking a little bit longer. I know you got kids to take to school and so on and so forth. You were one of the leading candidates, so we might even have to have you on again or have another conversation if you wouldn't
I'd
mind.
love it.
Obviously, we need to go deeper on some of the things that we talked about, and this is kind of an introduction, gloss over the surface situation here. So thank you so much for doing that. If you agree, I would love to talk to you again soon.
Yeah, we'd love that. Thank you. I appreciate you having me on.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks for coming. Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. There you
All
go.
right. Appreciate her taking that time, taking the extra time as well. Thanks for everybody who is in the chat, laying it down. Sorry, I couldn't really get to everything there. We're bumping up against time constraints, but as you can see, we'll definitely have to have her back and talk about some more things. So thanks for everybody who joined us with comments. I'd love to have some conversations with you off live in order for us to kind of consolidate some of the things that you're asking about and get to some points that we can talk to her about again when we bring her back. So in the meantime, just for us to kind of catch our breath, let's take a quick break and we'll come back in and jump back into the chat, jump back into the conversation here in the second hour of First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
My name is Paul B. He's Buddy the Guy. Thanks for sticking with us. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Step into history at the Omaha Freedom Festival with our Negro Leagues and Black Baseball Storytelling Series, a powerful celebration of America's baseball legacy. Join us Saturday, June 13th, 2026 at Gene Leahy Mall Pavilion. Hear from historians and icons as they bring the rich history of the Negro Leagues to life. Just download your free ticket at omahafreedomfestival.com. Don't miss this celebration of history, heritage, and America's game. Only at the Omaha Freedom Festival.
Welcome back. First Sky Omaha in the morning. Paul B. That's me. Buddy the guy.
Hey.
That's him.
Hey.
You're just joining us, man. I'm a little under the weather today, so if I'm not as clear as I usually am, I apologize for that. But it is definitely that once a year in the bed with the flu, drinking the NyQuil by the gallon,
Man.
time of year for me. So, this was I'm glad we had her on. I'm glad we got the conversation started, and I appreciate everybody who's in the chat that was directing questions and comments to her as well. Appreciate that. Lots to talk about. She's one of the leading candidates, so we absolutely have to come back with some of these questions and get a little deeper answers into a lot of that. What we did today was hopefully an introduction to the people that did not know who she was and did not know where she stood on some things. And I appreciate her coming on and giving us some info on that. And appreciate you guys who are here. I'm seeing some thanks for having her on and so on. And thank you, Denise, as well. So I appreciate that very much. Thank you. We do have some guests coming up. On Friday, we'll be talking to Amanda Kephart, who's from Film Streams. We're going to talk a little bit more about some of the films that they got coming out and some of the talks after the film. We've been talking about Film Streams as the third space where people continued the conversation. They just had the Amir Locke No Knock, No Charge film the other night that had the brothers and sisters come out and really talk about the film afterwards. It was a very important conversation according to everybody who went and reported on that. We appreciate everybody who did that. There's more of that kind of stuff to come with Film Stream, so we'll be talking about it on Friday. Also, I wanted to give a shout out to Avo who put this in Friends of First Sky Omaha. Make a plan to vote. Key dates for Nebraska primary. This is something you might want to take a screenshot of and just keep on you. April 13th, first day to vote early in person. April 27th, postmark deadline for mail-in voter registration. May 1st, last day to register in person, and May 12th, primary election date. Shout out to Avo for putting this out. And also shout out to Black Connie, who is a friend of the show as well. Black Connie gave us an example of somebody who's doing this, who's already done it. She said, today I did something I've never done before. I voted without standing in line. Normally I vote on election day because there's something nostalgic about it for me. She says, all the trauma my people endured for me to have the right to vote. As a Black woman, voting to me is personal and mandatory. She says it's a part of my DNA. She said my dad worked a lot in political world in Chicago, so I grew up seeing the importance of voting. She says, and if my vote didn't matter, why, as they are trying to make it so difficult for me to vote? The Black vote matters. So today I voted for change in the Douglas County District Attorney's Office. Danner for Douglas. I voted for transparency in Douglas County clerk of the court, Justin T. Wayne for Douglas County clerk of the district court, and I voted brave for Congress, Denise Powell for Congress. Will you please vote blue? Sorry, the writing's a little small there for me. But she gave an example of her going in early to vote. She even talked about some of the people who she voted for. Danner for Douglas to take Don Klein's seat. Also, Justin Wayne for Douglas County Clerk. We know he's running as well, and she endorsed for Congresswoman Denise Powell. So shout out to her for doing her due diligence. I see Justin Wayne thanked her and talked about buying her products as well. She got products in the visitor center that I've already spent some money on. Definitely go check her products out. We'll be having her on the show and talk about her business as well. But I just wanted to bring that out, an example of somebody who's kind of doing the do right now. Let's make it happen. Don't wait till election day. If you don't have to, go early and handle that business. So shout out to everybody who's done that, who's doing that and taking a stand, already figuring out who it is that they want to vote for, already had those conversations and doing their due diligence. So shout out to everybody who's on that tip. Appreciate that very much.
Can you put a graphic up really quickly? Just want to reiterate a couple of dates. As again, a couple of days ago was the last day to vote or to postmark deadline for again mailed in vote registration. So again, if you're still time to register, if you're not registered to vote, or if you got loved ones, friends that aren't registered that you want to get them active, it still is time to register to vote. Again, it's past the day to register by mail, but you can still go into your vote, your election office to vote and register in person. Again, May 1st is the last day to do so. Again, May 1st is the last day to register in person, and then of course the 12th is primary election day. So yeah, it's right around the corner, y'all. Right around the corner.
Somebody in the chat's talking about League of Women Voters guide. They put
Yep.
that guide out. Excuse me. And that is definitely one that is out there as well. Also, Nebraska Examiner put a guide out too. I'm putting the
Yeah, man.
link there. Shout out to Nebraska Examiner's guide. A lot of guides out there. Somebody said in the chat, it's a lot to learn for what they say, a lot to learn in a short amount of time. Where is it at? I don't see it, but yeah, I agree. A lot to learn in a short amount of time. Hopefully, you've been already learning though, and already been taking out. Go ahead.
That was Michael Watts.
Okay.
Yeah, it says a lot to learn in less than 2 weeks. Which yeah.
Very true. But again, hopefully that you already started learning about these candidates on your own. And like I said, we probably will not get to interview all the candidates. So you definitely have to go and check it out. And there's a lot of people, there's a lot of coverage here. With us, when people reach out to us to come on to the show, we usually try to accommodate. There's not a lot that we reach out for. We'll reach out to everybody once, and then who responds is usually ends up who we end up having on the show. But each time we have a guest on the show, we have to reiterate, like, don't just take what they said on this show. Look them up, do more research, do the due diligence on your own for them, but also the ones that we don't have on the show, and just everybody in the chat. Every time we come up on election time, we talk about the judges that nobody really does any research on and needs to do that as well. So we have to keep on as weeks go by that it's an important enough decision for your election time to really dive deep. Don't get there and guess and just check anybody. We got to dive deep, and we got to go in there and know who we're representing, who's representing us, who we're going to vote for, and the whole nine. So has to happen there. Really appreciate everybody who is part of that. I think sometimes we're preaching to the choir with that. A lot of people that are listening to this show are already getting busy. But spread the word, let people know this is very important. Not a lot of people come out on the primaries compared to the generals, but the primaries are super important too, as you can see. It's got to get narrowed down. So we're going to do our best to bring on guests, ask them the questions, find out what they are, what their plan is for North Omaha, especially. We need to know what's going on with East Omaha when it comes to these candidates, what their plan is, if they have one, who they've been working with. And then, of course, as we've been trying to catch at the last part of the interview with her, where the money coming from? We got to follow the money on that as well. That's going to be a big indicator on where it is they stand on a few things, because we kind of know how that kind of stuff works. So with that, I will continue to have some folks on. We have special guests coming on all the way up until the primaries and then beyond, of course. And if there's anybody who you think we need to be talking to as well, you're seeing something that we're not on the race, and some questions that need to be asked in the style that we ask them, then please hit us up. Let us know. You can always hit us up on Friends of First Sky Omaha, the group page on Facebook, or you can send us an email to firstsky.omaha@gmail.com. Easy address to remember there. Just let us know, and we'll try to see what we can do about getting folks on. So appreciate that. With that, buddy, what's on your mind? It's 8:34 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, anything jumping out in the chat that you wanted to discuss here real quick before we move on?
Yeah, I mean, the chat's going off in a lot of directions. I appreciate everybody sharing their thoughts on a few things. I guess just kind of acknowledging a few comments. Let's see. Linda in Chicago, welcome. Thank you for tuning in. She says, I appreciate her time. Speaking of Denise Powell, but I'm still voting for John Kavanaugh. He's done the hard work, always working hard for the people, looking to help those left behind. His experience will give him a head start. And I appreciate you sharing that. That's kind of our main thing here, is not necessarily telling you who to vote for. Again, we haven't made any official endorsements of any candidate. And please don't take our interviewing these candidates as that. It really is information. It really is a conversation. It really is our attempt to, again, allow you to have as much information as you can ahead of the primary and going into the general to make an informed decision. I mean, that's the big thing. So again, appreciate that, Linda Chicago, for sharing your thoughts on that. Also, let's see.
RG telling us there's 30 folks in the chat, in
Yeah,
the YouTube chat. He said, haven't seen a number like that since Kasim came on and talk about the traffic stop. Yeah.
yeah, I was looking
Yeah,
at that as well.
that's what
Also,
struck me about this. I'm sorry, go ahead.
speaking of RG, he also giving a shout out to Justin Wayne, saying that he's locking step on the Miller Park Lozier situation, which we talked about on
Mm.
Monday. But again, appreciate you sharing your thoughts. Paul B, what say you?
Yeah, I was just thinking, we knew that since she's one of the leading candidates, that we're going to get a lot of people in to talk here.
Yeah, yeah.
And what I understand about her and see about her is that she makes herself available to have these conversations. So you could get a hold of her directly as well and ask some of the questions that there is to ask. And she's been at a lot of events and holding a lot of events. And as you can see, she's down for coming back to continue some of the conversation there. So appreciate that, Senator Michaela Cavanaugh. I definitely gonna reach out to you to get a little bit more, understand a little bit more of what you're talking about here too. Like I said, because I'm looking at different comments on Facebook and YouTube at the same time.
Mhm.
Yours is a little bit spread out, and I'm trying to put it all together. But I'd rather have a conversation with you and find out what you have to say there as well. And also, yeah, I think that the last thing that's on my mind about this visit too is we had done a little research on some of these folks and brought and reached out to bring them on. Melanie Williams is somebody who we had not known. She is somebody who was new to us. Shout out to Anthony Rogers Wright for hooking us up with her. And she has some amazing things to say as well. In the Mamdani kind of swag with a lot of the things that she's about and believing in and speaking out against as well. If you missed that conversation, definitely go back and check that out. That was a few days ago. Check out the interview with Melanie Williams, another congressional candidate. And each time we have somebody on, I kind of see that there's a natural kind of comparison that's happening with me in my head anyway on what's happening. John Kavanaugh, Senator John Kavanaugh, put some respect on his name. He came on and said some things and said and made some promises and stuff like that. And now I'm kind of like wondering if every candidate is going to say the same thing. Are we going to be able to have access to these candidates if they win, if they get in? What are their plans? What do they think what do they think the job is? How are they going to use their position to sway things for North Omaha? We got some real answers on some of these congressional candidates and what it actually means out there. And of course, this all started when we had Preston Love Jr. come on, and Preston Love Jr. had a strategy saying, "Listen, I see you guys at 6 to dismiss. I see that I see that you guys got a mark next to Don Bacon because he's not running, and we're not talking about it. And we have not talked about it until he said that. And he said, there's an opportunity here. If a Democrat runs in Don Bacon's old seat, then that means they only need a couple more Democrats to be involved in order to get to the point where they can make some real change from this administration. And so it's very important somebody gets in that seat. And lo and behold, we got 6 people running for it now. So this is turning out to be a pretty heavy part of the election here, a heavy thing to talk about. And like I said, we're not going to get everybody on, but we got some folks on, and we're starting to get a real clear understanding about what the job is, what it means, will we have access, and what's happening here with the movement around, especially Senator John Kavanaugh moving out of the seat at the legislature in order to take this position. There's a lot being said here on all these things, and you had Senator Michaela Cavanaugh on, other senators on to talk about this subject as well. So it's been huge. So we're going to continue to do that as much as we can up until the point, because now we're getting
for ourselves. And I do appreciate you making it a point to ask every candidate about access, because that's the main thing. No matter who we get, it doesn't matter who we get in office if we don't have access. And beyond that access, one of the comments that's really jumping out to me, and I really want to, focus on in this last 20 minutes of the show or so, it's from Tony Johnson. Tony Johnson in the chat says Nebraska needs a Black agenda to help guide these candidates and truly assess their work on behalf of the Black community. And that's what my mind is, to be honest. Shout out to Melanie Williams. Shout out to John Kavanaugh. Shout out to all the candidates. But if I'm not mistaken, many of the candidates aren't Black. And necessarily, right. If not all, aren't Black. And for me, looking at and not trying to be hyperbolic, but just being honest about where we are in this country and what this midterm really means. And while, I appreciate what Denise Powell is saying as far as mad moms and, ranchers and farmers and everybody feeling the pinch and everybody, struggling right now. But I'm wary of what this really means for black folk.
Mm-hmm.
And I started out the show talking about how it feels like this country is taking a step back to the 50s. But if this midterm election goes a certain way, that could be a reality. We are not very far away from a lot of the wins that we've had over the last 60 years being dismantled.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really the point of Project 2025. And so, again, what are we going to do? And I appreciate the candidates, and I appreciate, but again, we have to have first of all, a real picture of what it is that we're up against, what it is that we're dealing with, and what is going to require to get out of this. Again, it's one thing to have this 6 to dismiss. It's one thing to have good candidates in seats, but once we get them in, let's just say we get all the perfect candidates in the seats, then what?
Well, yeah, I can't even wrap my head around that because there wouldn't be such a thing as a perfect candidate at all.
Right.
But this leads me to where what I'm talking about here with that. What I'm saying here is that there is a strategy here that's involved. This is why I keep going back to what Preston Love Jr. is talking about. We're not going to have the perfect candidate at all. Even the candidates ain't going to say that they're going to be the perfect candidate. That's just not what it is. And so the big question then is from the black community, what kind of access will we have with you? What kind of representation will you have in your office? Will you have an office that's connected to North Omaha? Will we be able to call you directly and be like, hey, listen, this is what you need to keep in mind here about what's going on. So I think that when you see people like Preston Love Jr. who's endorsing Denise Powell, what you're seeing is somebody who's looking at the landscape and saying, okay, the landscape looks like she may be the one that is in there. So, if she is, what is this going to mean here? And then he'll have that conversation with her, and then she'll say something that, she'll say what she said to us. Basically, is like, yeah, we're looking at the problems in North Omaha. I'm going to team up with some folks that know them better than me. I'm going to have some representation in my office in North Omaha. So, she's saying the things that is kind of all we can wish for if we don't have candidates of color running, or if we don't have people that are explicitly out here talking about what they're trying to do. Then that question is, okay, well, if you're the one that ends up winning, how are we going to be able to connect with you? And what are you thinking about doing for North Omaha if you get in there? I mean, that's really kind of the best question we can ask when it comes to what we're worried about as far as black folks, especially in our neighborhoods. Whoever gets in there, what is their agenda? Do they see, what did they see about that? That's why I had to make sure that I explicitly asked that during this interview, because that's really going to be a question for all the candidates going forward, is exactly those questions. So that might be the best we can do. Is what I'm getting at. That might be the best, the best thing that we might be able to do. Now, some of the issues. So some people vote on pure conscious, pure issues, pure whatever. If you're not matching up with my issues, period, point blank, period, I'm not voting for you. Done deal. Some people are strategists that are saying, you may not agree. I may not agree with you on every issue. I may not like where you stand on some stuff. But if you happen to win, how are we going to be able to work together? Can we work together? You understand that in order to get our vote, you're going to have to at least agree to work together. I don't know what camp everybody's in, because that's kind of a personal, a personal thing, whether or not you voting over 100% solidarity with the issues, or if you're trying to strategize here. Either one, there is that is the reason why you would vote for who you vote for. That's what it come down to. But yeah, that's all we can really do on that, and then we have to go beyond the lane of political power in order to make any other kind of change, right?
And that's kind of where I am. You know what I mean? As far as going beyond the lane of political power and, being realistic about how to get up out of what I'm seeing on the horizon. Because it seems like rhetoric is already picking up. I don't know if we got about 15 minutes. So, what Pillin has been saying about the UNK situation, if you missed it, UNK recently called faculty for a meeting and to discuss policies surrounding LGBT students being supported and transgender students being supported in DEI backed initiatives, to which Pillin called him out, and echoing the Trump rhetoric, saying this nonsense is completely irrelevant and destructive to the University of Nebraska's teaching mission and out of touch with the values of the state it serves, being Nebraska. If the university cannot police its own ranks and rid itself of the woke disease that has degraded so many elite higher education institutions, it risks investigations, cuts to its funding, and most importantly, loss of the confidence of the people it serves. Again, as far as the whole loss of the confidence, I'll leave that up to you. But as far as again seeing Pillin threatening to cut funding, and I'm feeling like all of this rhetoric and all of this energy is only going to be emboldened after these midterm elections. Can only get worse. And yes, having the right people in office is one thing, but we got to have more conversation about what does it look like to have more sister Dr. Denicia Phillips, and you know what I mean, who's opening the school and doing for ourselves, and what does that look like?
Yeah. Yeah, obviously we don't have enough time before the end of this show to dive into it, but that is the question we get to towards the end of the shows after that as well. I mean, we there's still a lot of questions, still a lot of things we have to talk about. The due diligence of going into vote on the primaries is still here, and there's still a lot more questions and a lot more things we need to go through and talk about before we get there. But again, can't take up all of our energy because there's other lanes that we need to be focusing on as well, and that's just what it is. So yeah, with that, we'll leave it there and come back, and like I said, we'll come back and talk more about it. So if I appreciate everybody who's in the chat. I'm seeing new names like 10-2 Pat. Appreciate you with your comments. We'll go back and check out some of those comments. Same thing with Michael Watts, Anthony Rogers Wright. Kind of gets to this point at the end of the show where it turns into a lot of conversation there. Between folks. I appreciate Linda in Chicago in the chat talking as well, bringing in some points, and also shout out to Allie Pidler who's been in the chat this time, most of the show here, commenting as well. So like I said, we're gonna leave it there for now. With that, there's a lot of questions still that have to do with this election, with the primaries, with the candidates. We'll come back to it. But we do want to wrap the show with a few more things that we wanted to kind of bring to your attention and start the conversation on as well, so we can continue on. Again, Friday, we'll have a Love Supreme Friday where we're talking to Amanda Kephart from Film Streams, and we'll be diving in on some of the things that went down this week at Film Streams and what's coming up at Film Streams as well. And then, of course, we'll keep this on Friends of First Sky Omaha in order for you to make a plan to vote. The key dates for Nebraska primaries. Dates, this is something that you need to just kind of keep in mind and get busy with, and maybe even keep in mind to do some of this stuff early and get it knocked out so that there's no issues and problems there as well. So with that, we'll go ahead and before we finish out the show too, just got to remind everybody this is coming up. 19th annual Rebuilding the Village Conference and Revive Black Business Expo is happening Friday, May 8th. Highly encourage you to go ahead and hit that QR code or go to rtvomaha.com in order to register and check this out. This is a lot of where some of these answers are lying as well. Just understanding about everybody who's in the network. Shout out to the Empowerment Network. I always like to make sure that we put emphasis on the network part, because there's plenty of individuals and organizations that are connected that are all trying to work together to make some change here. So definitely check this out and be a part of this. If you're skeptical about what goes on with the Empowerment Network, this is the best way for you to go find out, go speak to people face to face, be a part of what's happening, and we'll continue to talk about it. So don't forget to get your tickets to go to this and make that happen, make it a thing. With that, buddy, you want to go ahead and wrap the show?
Yeah, I have I guess one last story to kind of illustrate, the point that I'm painting, and really for me, the biggest takeaway from today is to kind of dead all this blue dot conversation, because the reality is the blue dot hasn't really stopped hasn't really stopped anything, especially when it comes to what we're seeing out of Pillon's administration, not just with the Cornhusker clink, not just with some of the county jails being used to house ICE detainees, which we talked about. Um, Many of the things that have led us to calling Pillon Trump Jr. I mean, it just continues. The latest saga or chapter in that whole situation is coming from the Associated Press, and this is something that, especially those of you who are struggling to find jobs, which shout out to Sean McCarthy. We know how this job market really is looking. Yeah, but if you find yourself out of employment but in need of Medicaid, you might want to listen up to this, as Nebraska and now on Friday will become the first state to enforce work, volunteer, or education requirements for new Medicaid applicants. Uh, and this is interesting. This is taking place 8 months before the federally mandated requirements are set to kick in. Nebraska and Trump Jr. again jumping the gun, jumping on the bandwagon, not waiting for Trump's administration to push some of this nonsense through. And here we are. Again, advocates are worried that the state is launching so rapidly, the key details remain unresolved, and some people are eligible for coverage will lose it. State officials say they prepared training staff and sending letters, emails, and texts to people who could be impacted. So, again, if you're on Medicaid, look out for possible correspondence from the Pillon administration. Health policy experts, advocates, and other states will be watching closely. In an interview with the Associated Press, Jennifer Tolber, who's a deputy director of KFF's program on Medicaid and the uninsured, said it can be used as a lesson for other states, both where things go well and where things don't go well. So again, the law is expected to leave some without insurance. The work requirement is part of a broad tax and policy law that, of course, President Donald Trump signed last year. But Trump Jr., aka Jim Pillon, announced in December that the state would implement it 8 months before it was required, saying the aim was making sure we get every able-bodied Nebraskan to be part of our community. Again, forcing those who need medical assistance into the workforce. Again, shout out to a friend of First Sky, sister Miss Erica Felt, Miss E. She did mention that a volunteer at her child care facility does, qualify you, does count for this whole volunteerism work requirement for those on Medicaid. So again, shout out to Miss Erica Feld. If you want to go over there, volunteer, and you get that message, maybe you want to reach out and holler at her. But again, this is just another example, especially in Nebraska. Like, it is very interesting when we see Nebraska and how it is viewed, how it's discussed on the national political landscape, when it makes headlines, and somebody pointed out it's usually for the wrong things. It's usually for our governor saying marijuana is going to kill the kids, or us jumping the gun and calling the president ourselves, taking it upon ourselves to issue a Cornhusker clink rather than waiting for the federal government to reach out. So Trump Jr. is alive and well, and the blue dot necessarily not stopping that.
Not stopping that. We still have the 6 to dismiss. Shout out to Precious McKesson. Governor Jim Pillon is on the top of the list. So remember, this election season, this is a opportunity to vote somebody else in as well. I believe Lynn Waltz is the person who's running against him, and that's a person that we might need to talk to as well to see what's happening. So
Yeah,
it is part of that, the political strategy of getting people out of the seats, getting the right people in the seats. A big portion of this, the political power that we could hold if we all kind of get together on that. It's a huge deal. But as we always state, especially towards the end of the show, we got other lanes that we need to be paying attention to as well, how we take care of things, and regardless of who's in them seats. Senator Terrell McKinney told me that one time early on when we started having him on the Senator Cipher. He was like, one thing you got to remember is that you can't be dependent on one politician or any group of politicians at all to do what we got to do. He's still part of the Black Agenda Alliance. Even though he has run for senator, he's in one lane, but he's firmly in other lanes as well. And I always remember that from him, because that's a huge deal. It's a huge deal. So that is something that we got to keep in mind and get to as well. Get to talking to. I'm very excited, as a matter of fact, to get to the point where we're done with that. Maybe the election. I mean, I guess there's never going to be a situation where we're all the way done, but it doesn't have to. But we can. We would love to get to concentrating on some other lanes. We just happen to be in the primaries coming up here very shortly, which is a very important election, as you can see, and we got to talk about it. We got to do it. So A lot of the people that listen to us are not really going and checking out the debates and all the other stuff that's going on Channel 7, and they're sick of the rhetoric. They want to hear from people face to face, which is what we're doing our best trying to get guests on to do that and to have a real conversation with people. How many places can you find somewhere that they're having a real conversation as if you're just standing there talking to them and getting what they have to say? So it's important. It's important for us to do this, and but with not leaving out that there's other lanes that we got to concentrate on as well. So appreciate that. Appreciate everybody who's in the chat. Like I said,
Man.
For the new people that are in the chat, thank you. We have a conversation as if we're all talking to each other face to face. Just remember that. And a lot of times you guys are talking back and forth. That's fine too. You can take it outside. I also call that take it outside, meaning you guys get together and message each other about some of the things that you guys are talking about and going back and forth and about as well, and kind of leaving it free of the chat. But appreciate everybody who is putting in comments as well and questions and respect for the guests too. It's a part of what we do here, and we're going to continue to do it that way. So thank you. We didn't get into the Miller Park situation too much, but I did want to bring this out. They do have a opening job, Miller Park Trust Community Outreach Coordinator. So the trust is hiring folks. As you can see, employer provided $45K to $52K. If you're interested in that, then definitely go check this out. I think I pulled this from Indeed. If I can find the link, if you're interested in that. But it's just something that I thought was very, very interesting and very important. That this was that the trust is hiring folks to be a part of this, which is something that the city wasn't able to do as well. Shout out to Logier, really, for teaming up. I know that it's a controversial thing to say around here for some folks, but I happen to personally believe that it's a good move for Logier to be a part of what's going on with Miller Park, since and invest in that area, that park, that the whole area really, because that's where they do business. That's where they come from. And they got some stuff going on, one of which is a job opening. So definitely check that out if you're interested. There may be a job in there for you, and also the ability for you to make some moves and sway some things that you think is not working right in that area if you're on the inside doing it. So definitely check that out if you would. And we'll get to talking a little bit more about that later on. As a matter of fact, I reached out to somebody at Logier who told me that they will put me in touch with the person that can speak on that. And then we'll have more conversation about that. Also, talk to Senator Justin Wayne, former Senator Justin Wayne, who's been the most vocal about the Miller Park situation not being something that he thinks is good. And we'll have him on to talk about that and his run as well. His run for, So we got lots to talk about coming up. Sorry, buddy.
No, you're good. You're good. I actually just wanted to add on to that as far as the Miller Park situation. I'm glad you touched on that before we got out of here because there are some things to look out for. Actually, next week, on May 7th, next Thursday, there will be, again, just a reminder for those of you who are vocal, because there are actually several chats regarding this Miller Park situation. A lot of people chiming up. So, again, have your voices heard and also get more information from, quote unquote, the horse's mouth as far as what's going on with this situation. Again, the Miller Park Trust will be having a forum, a community conversation, neighborhood meeting Thursday, May 7th at 6 p.m. at the Miller Park Pavilion. And then there will be another one June 4th at 6 p.m. at the Northeast Precinct. That's 4316 North 30th Street. Again, the neighborhood meeting coming up next week, next Thursday, May 7th at 6 at the Miller Park Pavilion. You can also visit the Miller Park Minnelusa Neighborhood Association on Facebook for more information on that. Again, the Miller Park Minnelusa Neighborhood Association on Facebook for more information. But also beyond, just the Miller Park situation in general, there's a concept that I do want to dive more into as far as this idea of public-private partnerships. Nicole Leclerc, who's, again, a name we don't see often on the chat, so welcome. But Nicole says, yes, private-public partnerships are concerning. The new library, Miller Park, the streetcar, the downtown kids jail building still empty after 3 years. These quote-unquote partnerships are puzzling. I often wonder what is underneath the surface of appearing grand and who is truly benefiting. And again, while I'm with you, Paul, as far as, feeling like there is more benefit than not to this Miller Park situation, there is the element in the reality of private public partnerships being a part of Project 2025. And we're seeing private public partnerships kind of make their way and manifest in other areas around the nation. in other ways that might not benefit the community. So there's some things we got to look at as, we've seen Trump talking about privatizing public entities like our mail system, privatizing voting in this nation. So again, this whole private public partnership concept is something that we're going to have to unpack at some point.
I like that. We will definitely do that. Appreciate that very much. Also, Kimra is also saying shout out to Leo Lewis and Nancy Gardner from Miller Park, Minnie Lusa, who have joined the One Omaha Advisory Board. That's what's up.
Okay.
Yeah,
Hey,
very
hey,
nice.
hey.
Lot we can unpack there for sure with their involvement. Definitely we'll talk about that more. It's about time to have you on, as a matter of fact, Ms. Cameron. And
Yeah.
happening with One Omaha and neighborhood business. Yep.
Actually, on that note, Cameron, I got your notes about the conference you went to in San Antonio. Appreciate your notes. Some interesting stuff. Conversations happening nationally, y'all, about what's going on with the schools and lack of trust. Actually, speaking of, Pellin was saying about, folks losing trust in the school system. I think that we passed that point already, as far as, again, families losing trust in the school system. So yeah, we gotta talk about it. We gotta talk about it.
We definitely do. Appreciate that. Excuse me. Still under the weather, y'all. Excuse me.
Man.
Tony Johnson says weekend weather looking nicer. Will voter education and registration efforts be out in North Omaha? I'm quite sure they will. Let us know what efforts are the get out the vote efforts that are happening. Appreciate that very much. Also, Christy Knorr is in the chat. Appreciate you for putting your money where your mouth is. She says, folks are going bankrupt. I have been knocking doors. People who might not have supported me before meeting me are voting for me. We need people who understand what struggle truly is. Man, shout out to Christy Knorr for doing that. Friend of First Sky Omaha and friend of the neighborhood, friend of just a friend. So we appreciate her stepping up for Legislative District 12, handling that. That's what's up. I appreciate you doing that very much. Also, somebody said, who was just talking about her a second ago? I'm sorry about that, y'all. Yeah. Anyway, she says, I have hope. She says, I'm seeing it when I'm out talking to voters. People are ready for change. That's oh, there it is. Senator Michaela Cavanaugh giving you a keep up the good work, Christy. That's what's up. Nice endorsement there. So yeah, appreciate everybody who commented there. We are at the end of the show, actually 2 minutes after our agreed upon time. And so I definitely want to get up and get out of here. We do have, go ahead.
No, I just got some final words. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's get to the final words, because I need to take some NyQuil and crawl back into bed right now.
Yeah, man. If y'all can, man, give my brother Paul some soup or something, man. Help my dog out, man. Help him out.
Yeah.
But yeah, before we get out of here, I do want to give a shout out to Marlon Harrison, man, content creator, alum, friend of First Guy, part of the fam, part of the news gang. He says, thank you, brothers, for a good show. P.S. I can't wait for y'all to hear my story that KETV did, man. Definitely wanted to give you some flowers before we get out of here, man. Definitely congratulations on getting your story told. Yeah, highlighted. I love just, seeing you go through our content creators camps, to see you come to our events and really, feel like the city is opening up to you and getting out and exploring the city and building your own name, man. I'm proud of you. So just keep on going, keep being awesome. And yeah, can't wait to see what KETV had to say about you.
That's right. Speaking of content camp alumni.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, we got our content creators camp stepping up here on May 9th. It's about to launch. We got a few people that are interested in coming on in, and we still need a few more. So hit us up at firstskyOmaha@gmail.com. We would love for you to join this. There is no age limit on it. As a matter of fact, I just got a text from Sadiqa Poindexter from Nebraska Writers Collective. Appreciate her saying if there's some young folks that if we want to take young folks, she'll help that out. So listen, this is supposed to be for the young folks, as a matter of fact. So this is for all ages, though. We'll include anybody who wants to be part of this citizen journalist army that we're trying to build out here, to do 4 things: to become a trusted source, to use your creative skills, to become a citizen journalist, and to hold those in power accountable. That's what this whole thing is about. I think it was Denise Powell earlier that was talking about the fourth estate. That's what it is that we are. The fourth estate is the state that keeps some of these powers, and we're talking about political powers, in check. That's what the press is supposed to be for. You can do that. You have freedom of the press, First Amendment rights that you're all about, that you can use in order to make some change. And we're going to try to show you that. Content Creators Camp coming up, a four-part workshop. It's 4 weeks, Saturday mornings starting May 9th. It'll be May 16th, May 23rd, and May 30th. You'll have a project, a piece, a written piece, a video, or something done that is a story that will come from you. We'll help you build that over the 4-week course, and you'll get a lot of information there on how to be a trusted source in your community and hold powers accountable. That's what it's all about.
Hey.
Yep. Shout out to everybody who has been there before and everybody who will be there again. Same thing. We're going to go ahead and get out of this. So we appreciate you joining us. Any final words for the people, buddy?
No, man, that's it, man. Again, a big thank you to congressional candidate Denise Powell. Again, make sure you're doing your research, voting on your conscience, but try to think about everybody else, not just yourself when you vote, man. So appreciate you, love you, thank you, and catch the same time, same place, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, right here on First Sky Omaha in the morning, Paul.
In the morning.
Hey, even through the sickness, thank you,
Man.
thank you. A little scratch in there, appreciate you. Oh man, without further ado, man, again, Friday we have special guest Amanda Kephart coming through from Film Streams. Definitely looking forward to that conversation, seeing what they have goings-ons for May. Also, speaking of goings-ons for May, hey, I'll be making my way to Omaha very soon. It's about that time, y'all, so definitely get ready for that. And again, I will echo Paul B. Make sure you reaching out, checking us out for the Content Creators Camp. Get down. A big shout out to Miss Erica Phil, Marlon Harrison, some of our Content Creators Camp alumni, saying they learned a lot from this. And yeah, man, hey, it's the freedom of press. It's the First Amendment right. You have the right. Are you prepared to exercise it? Come through.
Love
With that,
it.
take it away.
Right on. Yeah, buddy coming to town. You know what that means. It's going to be a Chad Chambers kickback coming up. I think Kimra Snipes is still reigning champ when it comes to the Domino's table.
Yeah.
2 years in a row. We'll see who gets it this summer. We'll see. But anyway, yeah, appreciate you guys joining us today. Thanks for all the comments, all the questions. Please, if you're a new name and you just joined us, know that we do this Monday, Wednesday, Friday from 7 to 9 in the morning. And we definitely use the chat in a different way than you use the chat in other places. We use the chat here as if we're speaking face to face to each other and having actual conversation, not speaking over each other, but asking questions, putting comments in that are relevant to the things we're talking about, and first and foremost, and all the way about respecting the guest that is on as well. We have a guest on. We want to give them respect and be diligent in the questions in the comments that we have for them. And, this is not a hot seat type of situation where we're starting a debate and everything else. What we're trying to do is really kind of understand where they're coming from. That's why we have them on in the first place. So appreciate everybody who follows that lead. Everybody who follows our style on that. We'll continue to do that here. We appreciate everybody who joins us and supports that as well. Shout out to everybody who supports us as a member of the channel, the $10 people, the $25 people, the $50 people. We very much appreciate you for helping us continue this on. We actually want to get more members. So if you are so inclined and you think that what we're doing is some good work, please go to First Sky Omaha at firstsky.omaha.com and hit the join button and become a member of the channel. This thing is something that we kind of are doing out of feeling like we want to give back to the community. This is something that we are trying to expand. We've been trying to expand our journalism here for a few years. Even before we got to the point where this was self-sustainable, we started the Content Creator Camp to try to teach folks how to be a citizen journalist as well. So we've been putting a lot out there above and beyond how much it costs to run this program. And we are having some issues running it. Every quarter we have to get together and say, hey, can we continue this? And it's because of that fact. So there's a few ways that we can try to get together on that. A few ways that we can get together on that is become a member of the channel. Or if you have advertising that you want to do for your events or for your business, you can hit us up and we have advertising packages as well. That's one way to support us. And also we do some video services too. So if you have jobs and things like that, let us know. We'll send you a rate sheet. We would love to be a part of that. Anybody who has festivals and things that are coming up this summer or shows coming up this summer, hit us up. We can definitely spread the word with our platform, and that's a way to support us as well. And then you can also go to our website and you can hit the store button and check out some of the merch that we got there too. We got more stuff coming, but we still have some of these in stock as well. The OG First Sky shirt that we still have a limited edition of. We have, of course, the big logo tee. That is the original shirt. And then we also got the Fight the Towers shirt, public housing, Fight the Towers. That's still part of those proceeds still go to helping some of these tenants out here that have having some issues with their landlords, especially the ones that live in the towers. We're kind of fighting what Omaha Public Housing is these conditions are still there. It's been quiet, hasn't been in the news, but there's still bed bugs and all kinds of stuff going on in these places, and when they still need assistance. So that's another way that you can help support us as well, is by going to the store and doing that. And then like and subscribe over on YouTube. We'd love to get to the point where we have enough folks on YouTube to be able to capitalize there on that too. There's a way we can monetize our YouTube if we have enough folks that are joined and have liked and subscribed our channel as well. These are all very small things that trickle in, very small bits of money in order for us to try to continue and maintain and more importantly expand our journalism as well, and not just do this thing that we do Monday, Wednesday, or Friday, which is our give back. This is really our give back, not really getting paid. We have to have a whole lot of other jobs in order to maintain what we're trying to do here. So if you are getting any value here, or if you are a person that wants to do some business, please hit us up, firstskyOmaha@gmail.com. Somebody will get back to you and we'll talk. In the meantime, between time, we appreciate you guys taking the time listening to us, and also staying a little later on past the agreed upon time in order to hear some of this. Tell a friend, share the show, and we'll see you on Friday. We want to give a shout out to the Omaha tribe elders for allowing us to be on this land in the first place and speak while we're here. We want to give a shout out to our elders for allowing us to speak before you. Shout out to you, the chat chimers, allowing us to speak with you, staying within the style that we're trying to portray here on this show in order for us to get to some great conversations. And also just being loyal chat chimers that keep coming back, loyal ghost listeners that keep tuning in and listening. We really appreciate everybody who does that. And when I go out and I'm out and about and I'm talking to folks, I'm hearing people spreading the word, telling them what we're doing, and everybody is happy with the fact that we got these conversations rolling. Think it's an important thing. So if you do too, let us know. We really appreciate everybody who's joining us here. We'll see you guys on Friday when we have a Love Supreme Friday, talking about film streams and speaking to our special guest, Amanda Kephart, who's one of my favorite people in Omaha right now, for real. And we'll have a great conversation. We'll keep it moving, keep it rolling. Till then, take care of yourselves. Supposed to be nice out if you're in Omaha, Nebraska, but live a life with one another. That's what it's all about. We're out of here, y'all. Peace. Going back to bed.
By the way, Vanglorious, this is protected by the red, the black, and the green